this morning, the biggest mouthpiece of Donald Trump, Mike Johnson, he put his face in front of a microphone and cameras and got to talking about all this again. Because maybe he should be quiet.
So it's fair for the American people to ask the question, why now? Why suddenly are they so interested? They have such an urgent interest in the Jeffrey Epstein matter. The truth is simple and straightforward and obvious for anyone who is willing to look at it objectively. Clearly, this is a political exercise for Democrats and a few others, sadly, and it is as deceitful and dishonest as their pointless stunt to shut down the government. Same ideology behind this. Democrats are trying to use the Epstein matter as a political weapon to distract from their own party's failures. And in a desperate attempt, they're trying to somehow tie President Trump to the scandal. President Trump has nothing to do with it. He has said himself he has nothing to hide. And that's clearly what they've been trying to do. They're trying to attack President Trump. This is what they've done. They weaponized the justice system over the last several years to go after him, and this is their latest attempt.
It's not even done that well. Listen, there's a bit of an awakening and awareness going on in the country because of the absolute destructive nature of this administration and all the people like Mike Johnson following. People are listening closely. So when you hear Mike Johnson stutter through all of that whole diatribe talking about how it's ridiculous and, Democrats suddenly have this issue with Donald Trump and the Epstein files, do you understand how you actually sound? And do you also understand that people are watching you read your statement as if this is something authentic that's coming from your own brain, or if it's talking points that was delivered to you by, I guess, White House leadership? He's still going. It was continuously bad.
National security concerns, okay? The discharge requires the Attorney General to release within 30 days, quote, classified information to the maximum extent possible. This ignores the principle that declassification should always rest, and always has rested, with the agency that originated the intelligence. Why? So that they can protect their critical sources and methods. It is incredibly dangerous to demand that officials or employees of the DOJ declassify materials that originated in other agencies and intelligence agencies.
No one believes that Mike Johnson thinks that there's some kind of national security risks with them releasing the information on this years and over decades old case that has been through multiple hands of Department of Justice officials. And now he's concerned about national security issues. There's another excuse. It's excuse on top of another unrelated excuse. They want us to keep forgetting these things because every week there's a new excuse. It's actually really hard to keep up with it. And it's hard enough that they don't even realize how often they're changing their story.
They're trying to attack President Trump. This is what they've done. They weaponized the justice system over the last several years to go after him, and this is their latest attempt. And they don't have a platform or a principle to defend on the Democrat Party side, so they put all their eggs in this basket. And that's why you hear endlessly about Epstein. Everything's about Epstein.
I guess they think when he repeats Russia, Russia, Russia 3 times, that suddenly if you repeat Epstein 3 times, that's not going to happen. Except you probably don't want to say it in the mirror. He might show up behind you, bloody-faced, and with all kinds of information that you don't want released. Mike Johnson has literally no principles. I was going to say left, but he never really started with any in the first place. They're just flowing through all these different excuses. Because today is the day, as I mentioned before, today is the day when they have to vote on releasing these documents, or at least from the House side of it. This is a battle that Mike Johnson has been pushing and fighting against so severely. Every moment, a new excuse. And he wants you to forget somehow that he's been fighting this and he's all on board. Suddenly, the day after, Donald Trump also said he's on board too.
I'm going to vote to move this forward. I think it could be close to a unanimous vote because everybody here, all the Republicans, want to go on record to show they're for maximum transparency, but they also want to note that we're demanding that this stuff get corrected before it is ever moves through the process and is completed.
If you're just now suddenly for it, I believe the next question is, what happened? What made you change your mind, Mike Johnson? What made you change your mind about releasing and voting in favor of this now, when you've been hell-bent against it this entire time? I mean, we know the answer. It's just we need to see whether or not to what degree he's going to lie about why he's now suddenly on board. And all these things are what the party and what Donald Trump wants. All that's written down, it's all on video. We actually know what happened.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. Are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Matter of fact, he's even still going with the lie that they want this all out.
This up and just say that Republicans support maximum transparency. We always have. The President of the United States supports maximum transparency. You've heard him say it in his own words. But he has had the same concerns that I've just articulated here, and we've talked about that. All of us have had these concerns, and we understand that we have a responsibility to innocent people and victims that is not properly guarded by the discharge petition. And that's why we're so incensed about that. We've got to make sure that we disclose the names of anybody who aided or conspired in any way with Jeffrey Epstein.
So a little bit of an extra forceful nature on a couple of words that he probably has like highlighted in his script to read with a little bit more force. I have to make sure people know anyone is involved with all of this trafficking, involved we care about. But let me go back and check my notes again. It's a constant rechecking of your notes.
That is not properly guarded by the discharge petition. And that's why we're so incensed about that. We've got to make sure that
maybe if you were authentic, maybe if you actually have a damn about the victims, survivors of this guy and his sex trafficking ring, maybe you'd have something authentic to say from your own mind. But he has to hit the script because the script is very carefully worded by Republican MAGA leadership to make sure that there's a certain way to go about this. As a matter of fact, since he's not voting for it today, as also Donald Trump is in favor of them voting in favor of this now again, it's because they know there's a process. They've been holding it up in the House, not swearing in Adelita Grijalva. Then after that, trying to press on Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor Greene and anyone else and insulting Thomas Massie, doing as much as they can to push back. We've seen all this very recently. It's not like this happened months ago. This is all within the past week or two. This has been the level of pushback for all of this stuff because they know the next step will then have to then be going to the Senate, which Johnson gave up that game too. He's been consulting with Republican Senate leadership, and I guess they're on board with holding it up there next.
I called my counterpart in the Senate, Leader Thune, and I talked him through this with him and shared our deep concerns. And of course, they share those concerns as well. And so I'm very confident that when this moves forward in the process, if and when it is processed in the Senate, which there's no certainty that that will be, that they will take the time methodically to do what we have not been allowed to do in the House, to amend this discharge petition and to make sure that these protections are there. The authors of the discharge did not allow us to do that here. That's the rules here. But in the Senate, they can correct it. So under that circumstance, because of that, we know there's serious deficiencies. We know that the work of our colleagues in the Senate can address that and will. They're very conscientious and concerned as we are about all this.
There's sometimes some people that are actually understand how this whole thing works, who are directly affected by it. In fact, Virginia Giuffre's family, they're always out and about talking about this. And I'm glad that they are, as hard as it is. And I'm sure as many people come at them sideways. These are the folks that people like Mike Johnson continue to act like don't exist or understand what it is that this president has been doing and could have been doing the whole time.
You heard the president saying that he will sign this bill to release the files if it's passed by both houses of Congress. I'm wondering what you think, because he could just release the files, have them ordered to release them now.
I think right now there's nothing holding him back from releasing them himself. It's certainly a switch in his narrative from what it was previously, right? I think he's been very opposing to this, calling it a hoax at many times, which is incredibly hurtful to us and so many survivors out there. And now he's reversing course in the sense that, maybe it's the ploy of like, oh, you know what? There's nothing to see over here anyway. Let's just support it now, right? Like, now I can just say that I've supported this the entire time. That's not the reality. Reality is he's given so much pushback to this point, and like you said, Anderson, if he really wanted to do it, he could do it today. I mean, I would challenge him to say, why should we even go to a vote tomorrow if the reality is that you could just flip a switch? If you truly supported it, then just release it now.
That was last night. It was Monday night when family members of Virginia Giuffre were talking about this. I don't think they understand enough people get that. He could have done it a long time ago. There's no reason to promote and now vocally or even post about how I'm in full support. House Republicans, vote for it. Hey, some bitch, how about you vote for it? How about you release it? But instead, he wants to make sure it goes through the House again, then goes through this back and forth discussion that Mike Johnson had with John Thune about it in the Senate so that they can block it, which he even gave up that game. Said there's no guarantee that it's going to pass and finish through Senate either. Their whole idea is to continue to find new hurdles to make this jump through while people continue to see all the reality surrounding it. They don't care anymore. Everyone sees it. They don't care that everyone sees it. They're authoritarians. They're trying to start some wars so that maybe we can be distracted by that further.